Welcome to Toffee Blue View, your source for all things Everton. I'm Gerry. Max and Edward are here. So the way this particular segment came about is I was talking to Mr. Toffee Blues, John, trying to figure out what a good segment for this particular, set would be, set of recordings. And I told him, I said, well, I'm really curious now that we're getting all these players back, we're going to start figuring out where our weaknesses lie. Because I think one of the weaknesses that a lot of people say is we need another striker. But you don't hear them mentioning a whole lot of other positions right now. So I wasn't sure, should we discuss like what we need in winter? And John just looked at me and he was like, it's really early for winter. And I'm like, yes, I know. But since I had talked about the striker position, John said, well, Edward's coming on. And we know Edward has a Niasse thing, okay? He's got a thing for Oumar. It's just, man crush.
Love him.
Yeah. So maybe we should talk about how Oumar is fourth choice at the moment and the pros and cons of keeping him in winter versus selling or loaning him out in winter, and about how much we should expect in a transaction like that, okay? So, Edward, do you want to give me the case for Oumar?
I think he can offer just what you can say he sort of lacks in maybe like goal scoring talent or just in-game talent in general. He makes up for it with grit, determination, where 9 out of 10 players would forget about that ball, wouldn't make anything of it. He'd be that one person that would go for that ball, create something from that opportunity. He's proven it against the likes of, say, Arsenal, Watford, Huddersfield, all like last season, and being able to grab that ball when probably a lot of other strikers or wingers would just be like, forget it. He went, got that ball, created a goal from that opportunity. So, and also, he's worked under Silva and basically resurged his career in England under Marco Silva. So Marco Silva knows how to play him and how to use his best abilities. So, really, any manager you'd want Oumar to be under would probably be him, at least.
Okay. We've heard the case for Oumar. The case against Oumar.
You picked the best people to do this, didn't you?
Max? It just happened like this. This wasn't totally planned.
Right, I'm just going to take a little snip of what Edward just said there. Basically what he just said, well, he doesn't have talent.
Oh, you...
Like, come on, what more do you need? It's just, he makes up for it in grit and determination, but the game isn't based on sympathy. We want to be this driving force. We want to be challenging for trophies and titles and European qualification, and having someone who can't trap a football, I don't want to sound horrible. I don't want to be, I don't want to be critical. I admire. I wish I had his cardiovascular endurance. I wish I had his grit and determination and ability to chase down balls. But when you look at the technical ability of the likes of Bernard, Sigurdsson, Richarlison, Theo Walcott, he's not in the same bracket of those players. He's just not. Yes, he played well under Silva for Hull, but he still wasn't all that. I don't know what more you want me to say. Like,
he scored against Liverpool. That's more than any of our strikers can say.
Oh, no, not for Everton. Wasn't for Everton.
Yeah, so I'm torn because I also like his spirit, his bravado. Sorry, that was Life of Brian. But I genuinely do. I like him. And from the surface, it seems like he's totally cool with being fourth string. It's kind of like, hey, put me in if you will, or if not, it'll be all right. That's kind of, it's the vibe that I get, which if we were talking about a fourth string player, that would be all right. But I think the vibe that I'm getting from other people is we want a player that can compete for that striker role with Richarlison and Tosun and DCL. a player who's actually, so we actually have some competition, somebody that's going to give us something a little bit different to those players. The funny thing is, you can make an argument if you need to that Oumar may be better suited for this current Silva system than Tosun because of the pace. Because these players, quick players, interchanging, needing to press, and Tosun's speed is not his greatest asset. It's not. However, I would make the counter argument that Tosun is just a much better passer and connector, working with other players. I think you're more likely to see Tosun combine with other players a lot more. I think
Tosun's just a much more technically efficient and intelligent footballer. I just think that's the case. I like Tosun. I don't think he can play the number 9 role that Marco Silva wants his number 9 to play. But like I said, it seemed obvious from the first game of the season against Wolves. He seemed, because look at when he first signed for Everton. Circumstances aside, they weren't the best. But he was so isolated, so on his own, did not get support. But with the likes of Walcott, Richarlison, Bernard, who he plays, with those interchanging and pressing up and around him, he's like a playmaker forward because he's got people supporting him and people around him. If they're not providing the opportunities for him, he can provide the opportunities for them, as we saw from that wall pass for Richarlison and his first goal of the season. I mean, not his first goal, his second goal against Wolves in the first game of the season. Little examples like that where he's teeing players up, setting them off. And I know he didn't necessarily have a big impact on the game, but I'm sure he was on the pitch when Sigurdsson scored that winner against Leicester.
He was.
It's that's the case for Tosun. I do like Tosun, and he is useful, and he's a great finisher.
I believe Tosun deserves playing time.
Yeah, I agree.
Here's my thing with Oumar. All my fond memories are from years past. They are not from the Silva era. You know what I mean? Like this season, when Oumar has gotten in, I think the main highlight you would show is his assist for Walcott on Tuesday. That's his best highlight of the season, right? I mean, has he scored any goals? Has he scored?
No.
And he hasn't come in and created those goals by himself. And I think it's because we've turned ourselves into this footballing side rather than the scrappers. I think he actually works in a Sam Allardyce type of squad that maybe is not getting lots of chances, that he just presses himself and makes a goal happen. I just don't know that he works for what Silva's trying to do. It's just too many times where it comes to him where the pass that comes from him is not accurate.
Yeah.
And we can't do that. We throw away possession too often in the past.
Exactly, and I think that raises the argument that it's, is he suited to the Premier League? I'm not a fan about how everyone bangs on about how the Premier League's the best league in the world. It's so physical, it's so, so challenging. But I just do genuinely think there's a case that he's not suited to the Premier League. You saw how well he did in Russia. He scored goals, for fun at times and won individual awards in Russia. So, maybe his luck's elsewhere.
I don't know. I think the Turkey move could happen, heading to Turkey. I think we could see that. I just don't think anyone's going to give us the money that we would want for it. So It's possible a move to the championship, but I don't think he'll take that. I think he's very picky about where he goes. And I get that to a certain extent, but if he wants to play, then maybe he can't be super picky. Well, are there any Premier League sides that you think may say, yeah, he'll get us a goal or two?
Cardiff, maybe, to be fair.
Yeah,
Cardiff, maybe.
That's the first one that sprung to mind. Some of the lowly sides, really.
See, I thought Huddersfield,
someone to do that.
I think maybe they've got some other
Huddersfield
options.
would work as well.
Look at when he come into that Hull side. It's a team like that Hull side. If they're struggling in terms of creating opportunities, and they're not pressing or counter pressing as they should. Injecting them into their side would do them the world of good.
Yeah. So, Prediction time. Is Oumar moving out in January? Do we think it's on loan or permanent? And where do you think he's going? Max, you start.
I've kind of become accustomed now to players getting loaned out before they actually get off. So I think it might be a loan to Turkey, Galatasaray maybe, and then hopefully with a view to buy.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I mean, as much as I hate to say it, I do think he probably will go. I mean, the whole thing is he can offer something different. So maybe I'd say he'll be given this season, and probably at the latest he'll go in the summer. Whether that be loan or permanent, I wouldn't be able to say for sure. But if he does go in January, it will be loan. If he goes in the summer, it will be permanent. And I would say he'll probably go to a team, maybe like a Florentina, or not a top team, but one that could be sort of that little bit of a jump up in a way to what you would say like a Cardiff or a Huddersfield or anything like that. He could do it.
You think we could con Fiorentina into taking another one of ours?
Yeah, to be fair, if got Morales, is he doing all right there? To be fair,
I have no idea. I haven't kept up with it. All I know is I like the idea of going to them and be like, "Hey, we forgot to tell you this is a buy one get one free deal." You know, so just here you go. You can have Oumar. I don't know. I think he'll go on loan, and I actually think it will be to another Premier League team. I think it'll be one of the lower ones. I just don't think he'll settle for a championship team. I don't think he'll. I think he's a prideful guy, and if it's the choice of going to a team where he has to go down a level, then I think he'll stay and work it out later. And if he stays, that could create some trouble for us if we're trying to bring in that other striker. So that's what I'll say. I'll say loan to another Premier League team, and then in the summer going on a permanent. So yeah. We're saying a lot of the same stuff, just not in the, yeah. So I guess that's it for our What to Do with Oumar segment. I remember you, Oumar. Yeah.
I mean, I'd get the shirt, but I think I might cry on it.
Yeah. See, Max is like, don't let the door hit you on your way out, man.
No, I've got a lot of respect for Oumar, particularly after what he went through. I'm glad he's in with the squad now. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit of a bummer, but I think where the squad is heading, I just think that's the way it has to work. So
yeah.
So I guess that's it for our Niasse segment. Up next, we've got If You Know Your History in a pod exclusive. So if you're watching on a video right now, go switch to the podcast. You can hear the kind of cage match, battle of the brains, Max versus Edward in some Everton trivia. And we've thrown in some FIFA questions in there because that's Edward's speciality. So check that out if you like. But regardless, if you're digging the videos, please subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. We're sitting around 1220 on the subs, so thanks so much for that. Baby stepping it gradually. Check out Edward's channel, Jam E. James. He's got matchday vlogs, FIFA videos, all things Everton. Sometimes he just records a video of himself talking about life. It's a vlog. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
So also, check out Max's Twitter. That's where he's basically announcing to the world where you can see his stuff. Okay? Wow, that sounded bad. Where you can actually read his writing or listen to him on podcasts. Okay? He's always doing analysis for the Toffee Blues channel, so check that out as well. All right, so guys, let's go do this trivia challenge. Switch back to the pod now, everybody, and bye.